Hello, my name is Katie Wisniewski and I'm the Middle Tennessee Regional Interpretive Specialist for State Parks, and I am here to share with you my favorite backyard birding tips. These are ways that you can get more wildlife into your backyard. While I'm filming this right now, we are under a safer at home order from the governor to help flatten the curve of COVID-19. So I figured now was as good a time as any to teach you a little bit of ways that you can help bring more wildlife to your backyard while we're all trying to stay at home. While parks provide a lot of natural habitat for birds, birds do not always stay within a park boundary. So birds cross between park boundaries and residential areas all the time. So there are things that you can do in your own backyard to provide resources for these birds when they're going from area to area. So bird feeders are one of the surefire ways to get birds into your backyard and to be able to provide them a food source that maybe in an urban or suburban area they will not be able to find very often. One tip that I want to give with this is to make sure you clean your bird feeder. Bird feeders that you put dry seed in should be cleaned monthly, and hummingbird feeders that you have water or liquid in should probably be cleaned weekly. Cleaning feeders helps prevent bacteria that can be building up that may be harmful to birds. All you need is hot soapy water to clean your feeders once a month and you should be good to go. Another tip is to leave your feeders up all year long. A lot of people take their bird feeders down in the winter or in the summer depending on which birds they would like to see. And while some birds do migrate, there are species that will stick around, especially in Tennessee. So you can change the food that you offer seasonally. For example, maybe offer some more protein in the winter when natural food sources aren't as available, but don't put them away. You'll still be able to get birds at your feeder and wildlife you can view all year long. This next tip is specifically related to hummingbirds. A lot of hummingbird feeders come with dye in the food to put in the hummingbird feeders. Sometimes this dye can actually be harmful to hummingbirds. The best thing that you can do is actually get a red feeder and put clear nectar in the feeder. There are other ways that you can attract hummingbirds that doesn't involve artificially dyeing the food that you put in the feeder. Most feeders are brightly colored, which in itself will naturally attract the hummingbirds, but also there are certain types of flowers that you can plant around the feeder that will help attract them as well. If you have a furry friend like a dog or cat that spends a lot of the time outside, they actually can be a threat to birds coming to the bird feeder. So something good that you can do is hang your bird feeder high enough where pets cannot get to it or disturb the birds when they're trying to feed. My next tip is do not feed bread to your birds. When birds are fed bread, their small stomachs are filled up really quickly, and bread is devoid of the nutrients that they need, especially if they're migrating. The best thing you can do is provide a variety of seed, nut, and fruit and worm sources for your birds. Another tip, if possible, is to add a source of water to your backyard. Birds, like many other animals, need both food and water to survive. So this can be in the form of a bird bath or a small pond if you have it, or a flowing bird fountain. Any source of water for these birds will continue to attract them back to your backyard. My next tip is to always keep a pair of binoculars and a bird identification guide near where you like to sit and watch the birds if you want to see them come to your feeder. A lot of the times birds will flit to the feeder and then flit back to a place of shelter, so I find myself reaching for those binoculars so I can get a better look and see which birds are coming and utilizing my feeder. And I also keep an identification guide just because it is fun for me to look through and try to identify the birds. You can also submit citizen science data to most states do a backyard bird count, or Audubon does a bird count as well, so it's always fun to kind of keep a tally of what birds I'm seeing come to my bird feeder. My final tip is to try as much as you can provide nesting areas for these birds. This will help bring birds into your backyard. They are looking for shelter and nesting areas. This can help them feel protected against predators and help them take rest if they're migrating before a long flight. Things like shrubs or bird houses, anything you can add to your backyard that is a natural shelter would be great for them. So those are some of my backyard birding tips. I hope you guys had fun during this video. I will link some resources for more exploration if you're interested in backyard birding down below, and I hope you guys have a great day.